U.S. President Barack Obama welcomed the imminent start of talks between Israel and the Palestinians, but urged both sides to approach them with honesty. The most difficult work of these negotiations is ahead, and I am hopeful that both the Israelis and Palestinians will approach these talks in good faith, he said on Monday. Obama thanked his own top diplomat, Secretary of State John Kerry, for organizing the talks, which were to begin later Monday in Washington with an initial exchange between top negotiators. I am pleased that Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Abbas have accepted Secretary Kerry's invitation to formally resume direct final status negotiations and have sent senior negotiating teams to Washington for the first round of meetings, Obama said. This is a promising step forward, though hard work and hard choices remain ahead. Israeli and Palestinian teams arrived in Washington earlier on Monday for preliminary talks towards a formal reopening of negotiations after years of stalemate. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry held a press conference in which he named Martin Indyk, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel, as the new Middle East peace envoy. Indyk is a veteran of U.S. involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. He was a senior official in the Clinton administration, which oversaw a failed summit in 2000 after which violence erupted in Israel and Palestinian territories. Kerry also said that many difficult choices lie ahead during the talks and that he would seek to establish reasonable compromises between the two sides. Al Jazeera's Rossi Landjordan, reporting from Washington, said Kerry has long seen the talks as a top priority as he believes without a solution, peace in the wider region cannot be restored. Israel's chief negotiator Tzipi Livni said early on Monday as she left for Washington that talks would be complex and that she was leaving cautiously but also with hope. Palestinian negotiators also departed after the Israeli cabinet acceded to Palestinian demands and agreed to release 104 Palestinian prisoners, some of whom have been jailed for decades. The Israeli president, Shimon Peres, praised the resumption of talks, describing it as a special day. The Middle East is in a stormy situation. We hope the Middle East will overcome its storm and land in a port of peace, he said while on a visit to Latvia. Peres played down any potential mediating role by the European Union, saying Europe should help but leave the negotiations to ourselves and the Palestinians. The EU angered Israeli leaders earlier this month by issuing guidelines which would restrict joint projects in the occupied West Bank. Talks about talks. A statement issued on Sunday by the U.S. State Department said that Secretary of State John Kerry spoke to the Israeli and Palestinian leaders and personally extended an invitation to send senior negotiating teams to Washington to formally resume direct final status negotiations. These meetings will serve as an opportunity to develop a procedural work plan for how the parties can proceed with the negotiations in the coming months, spokesperson Jen Psaki said in a statement on Sunday. The Israelis will be represented by Livni and Yitzhak Malko, and the Palestinians will be represented by Chief Negotiator Saeb Erekat and Mohammed Shtayat. Nabil Abu Radaina, a senior aide to the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, said Abbas had received an official invitation from Kerry. The Palestinian news agency, WAFA, quoted Abu Radaina as saying that the first meeting would aim to develop a procedural working plan for both sides to enable them to advance in talks in the coming months.